Darling, can you stop doing that? So I just thought I'd turn the camera on because not last night but the night before I had really bad pain in my ovary, like excruciating, and I didn't really understand why. It was just so random. And then like I had no fever or anything. I fully thought I had appendicitis. And then where I'm at in my cycle, I'm about a week away from getting my period, and I thought, what if I'm pregnant? Could that have been the cause of that pain? And I'm scared it's like an ectopic pregnancy or something. But I just took a test.
And me. And my daddy comes back.
Yeah, your daddy comes back in 2 sleeps. And I don't know how to tell Tim. I don't know. I can't keep secrets from him. I can't. I just want to tell him straight away, but he's over at work. And when I was pregnant with Zaid, he wasn't here. And I told him over the phone. And I'd love to tell him in person. It's super early though. Super early, and those pains really shocked me. So, I don't know. It's all a bit unnerving at the moment, but I thought I'd better document it just in case.
Two mice.
Hey guys, so, hold on. I've taken another test today. The first test I took was yesterday, which was my reaction that you would have seen yesterday. The test is darker today, so that's really exciting. Tim comes home tomorrow. He flies in. I need to sit down. I don't even think I've really given an update on our relationship. Maybe I have by the time this video has come out. So a quick recap if I haven't. Started seeing each other again August 2020. We've been seeing each other in quite a, not a casual sense, but just not very serious, obviously. We've been down that road before, so I was very cautious. My walls have been up. With Zaid and his car accident, it kind of like the universe sort of like pushed us back together and said, okay, stop being idiots, like you really care about each other, stop doing this to each other. Yeah, so we have been seeing each other since August, which is what, 7 months. So we've been going really well. We kept the same routine for Zaid. On his nights, he would have him at his place. I would have Zaid at my place on my nights, and we were probably only like sleeping over at each other's houses maybe once or twice the week that he was home. So like I said, it was it was very not casual, obviously, because we were exclusively seeing each other, but we just weren't like delving right into it. And I would say probably in the last month we've started like getting more serious and really growing closer, and I would say like we're getting to the point now where we're thinking about moving back in with each other, and that's a really big deal. He signed a lease for another 6 months at his place, and I think that's a good idea. Like I just didn't, when his lease came up, he's like, what do you want to do? And I said, I'm just not there yet. I just really like the way things are going, where I'm not dependent on him, and I'm not like, we're not living out of each other's pockets. We don't share bills, we don't share money, we don't, you know, like it's very much casual. I say that, but I'm pregnant to him and I have another child to him. Daddy comes home tomorrow. It's actually our 4-year anniversary in a week's time, and you know, we haven't been together for 4 years, but we met 4 years ago. Probably corrected to about 2 years of fully being together. But anyway, you know, he is expecting an anniversary gift, so I thought, he knows me, I can never like hold anything in from him. I'm always so excited to give him gifts and things like that. So I thought when I pick him up tomorrow, I'll give him an early anniversary present. And what the early anniversary present will be is this box, and I've wrapped it so that as soon as he unwraps the paper and opens the box, there'll just be a positive pregnancy test right there. and he will not be expecting it at all. I mean, like, at all. In terms of symptoms, I don't really have any other than needing to pee heaps and being really tired. I did have like a couple of days there where I thought I was getting sick, like sinus headache and sinus and stuff, and that's exactly what happened when I was pregnant with Zaid. That week before I found out, I thought I was getting sick. Fingers crossed it all goes well tomorrow. I couldn't sleep last night. It is Tuesday the 30th of March and picking up Tim from the airport in 2 hours. I've got my doctor's appointment beforehand. I'm just going to get my referrals for my bloods and my scan now, so I don't really have to worry about it later. And I also want to get scripts for like morning sickness stuff so that when it hits, I'm prepared. So far, nothing. I feel pretty good actually, which is always worrying when you get a positive pregnancy test. You always worry about like, why don't I have any symptoms? I do. I'm really tired. I've got really bad acne and I'm peeing heaps, like I mentioned to you guys. I felt a bit sick yesterday, but I feel fine today. Just a bit like, ugh, in the morning, but as soon as I eat and I'm up, I'm alright. I just had a really yummy smoothie with super greens, giving me all the nutrients. Try and keep me healthy so it's a sticky one. So weird. I didn't think I'd get to go through this again. It is a blessing. Even if things don't work out with it, it's still a blessing. I'm really grateful for the experience. I'm out of breath. Come on, girl. I've done a bunch of tests. I've done 3 tests. I've done a test every day. I cannot keep anything from Tim, and it's taken all my strength not to tell him. I've known, that's obviously the 3rd day I've known now, and I've not told him, obviously. I just don't even know what he's gonna think or what he's gonna... I mean, of course he's going to be happy. He loves being a daddy so much. He is the best daddy. The best daddy. Like, oh, that's probably him now boarding, so. Wish me luck. Oh, my eye. Hello, we're back. So the last time you would have seen me was before I went to pick Tim up from the airport. That day didn't really go as planned. I got about 15 minutes to tell him, and yeah, it was a shit day. My phone got broken. Tim was out all day with his mates. It just wasn't the best. And he leaves tomorrow, so it's literally been like 6 days since he's been home. Hotel tour. We're going out to dinner now. Are you excited that we're having a baby? Hello. It's been a little while. What I wanted to explain was the day that he came home from the airport, he had basically booked out his whole day to like do stuff that he wanted to do because it's his only sort of kid-free day when he's home. And I'm so sorry about my acne, but like I've just broken it out in the last couple of weeks with Easter, being pregnant and wearing a mask. I am not okay. Like I was kind of angry at Tim for booking out his day. I had said to him the night before, like, I'm giving you an anniversary gift, like I just want some of your time, and oh, it was just like this big debacle of a day. And we ended up having like an argument on the way home because I was in such a bad mood, and I was so so we were like arguing on the way home, and then I told him, and we were like arguing but happy and crying and arguing but happy and crying. Like it was not it was not like the amazing moment that I had imagined, but like, would it be any other way with us? No, it wouldn't. But Tim is absolutely stoked. Hold on, I'm just gonna put you on a candle. I'm just making a peppermint tea. I track my period, I always have. So I guess in a sense, like I've used that to kind of avoid getting pregnant. I don't know, after I got told I had PCOS and like after pretty much a year and a half of not falling pregnant again after Zaid, I was kind of just convinced that I wasn't, like that was it for me, it wasn't in the cards. Once I had told Tim like he still had to go and do the things that he was booked in to do that day, and like we had argued on the way home. My phone broke, so I had like no phone for the rest of the day. It was just one of those days where just things did not go the way I envisioned them to. But he came home from doing what he was doing and he bought me flowers, and then, you know, we spent the rest of the week just being really happy about everything. We also had Easter that weekend, so that was exciting. The Saturday night before Easter Sunday, I got really bad nausea at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I had it all night till 7 o'clock in the morning. Like I couldn't even get up to see the boys open their Easter stuff. I had to like pull myself out of bed at 7, but thankfully it went away, and then I was just a bit yuck for the rest of the day. Hold on, I have to pee. The Easter Monday when we stayed at the unit for our anniversary, that I'd be able to like get Tim on camera to kind of capture how he felt about the pregnancy and everything. But we were just obviously what you saw from the footage, he was being silly, and we were in just such a like hypo mood that night because we hadn't had a kid-free night in 2 years. Like we've had lunches out without the children on a couple of occasions, but I want to say 2 years since we've had like overnight with no children. Never feel the need to do that, but it was just like a little one-off special thing. All right, I'm gonna start rattling your ear off and I'll keep you updated. Hopefully the next time you see me, I'll either be wearing makeup or I'll look better than this. I'm sorry. So I am 6 weeks and 4 days today, and let me just set you up somewhere so I can sit down and talk to you. My symptoms really ramped up from 6 weeks 1 day, so about 3 days ago. I had been feeling pretty good up until that point. Really bad nausea for about 12 hours on 4 weeks 1 day, and it was bad, and I was like, oh wow, why am I getting this so early? Every sort of other day I would find myself just having like a random wave of queasiness. Nothing that I'd be too worried about, and as someone with emetophobia, which is like a fear of vomiting, it wasn't too bad, too bad, and I was just like praying that that's how it was going to be. Come 6 weeks on 6 weeks on the dot, so 6 weeks 0 days, I was really anxious leading up to that point because your symptoms typically kick in at 6 weeks, and a lot of people will tell you it kicks in like immediately as soon as you turn 6 weeks. So I was super anxious leading up to that point, and then when I felt really good on 6 weeks 0 days, I thought, oh, this is great, been spared another day. Forward the next day, the next morning I woke up, felt pretty good. I got up, I got in my like walking clothes, and I walked down the road about 1 kilometre to pathology to go get my bloods done, your first blood screen that you do. And I walked down to pathology, and I like fully, you know, made a bit of an effort considering I was going to get a blood test. Came back, had breakfast, and then it was probably around about 11 midday, the nausea just hit me to the point where I was like shocked. I don't remember ever feeling that bad with the other boys. Just remember it being quite manageable. It was a good few hours where I just felt like I was going to be sick. I took my medication and I've been taking it consistently since. It's been really bad. So I had it for a few hours. That first day I pretty much was just like in and out of bed. I'd have it and then it would sort of taper off and then it would come back, basically out to it for the rest of that day. I slept well that night. Yeah, midday it hit me. It was yuck. I had to like stay in bed for a couple of hours, but I think the duration of it was less. And then I was able to actually get up that afternoon. I felt good, so I like cleaned the house, trying to make the most of feeling good while I can, clean the house, and then I think that might have set it off. Then it came good by the time I went to bed. I had a really good sleep that night. Yeah, so that was Saturday and Sunday. So even though like it sounds like it was only for a portion of each day, like when it was like I just wanted to vomit non-stop. But because I'm so scared, I hold it in, and I don't know if that's making it worse, but I just spend so much time like trying not to be sick, and it's exhausting, and I get scared. I cried yesterday because I got up. I felt pretty good. I've been on top of my medication. Work yesterday, so I was really scared about that. Actually went through the whole day feeling pretty good, and then it got to about 4:30 in the afternoon and it hit me. I think that's the thing I'm struggling with, is that it can hit you at any time. You can be feeling good and normal 1 minute, and then you just feel absolutely disgusting the next. And the urge to be sick has never been so strong in my pregnancies except for this one, and it scares me so much. Anyway, this is 6 weeks. I'm very, very bloated. Aside from the nausea, I'm alright. I've got really, really bad acne, like unbelievable. Obviously you can probably see it all, but it's just so bad, and that is something else that I also didn't have with the other boys. My skin was really great with the boys, and I'm just wondering if, you know, like every pregnancy is different, but because I was diagnosed with PCOS last year, is the pregnancy hormone being dealt with differently because my body's hormone balance is different now? Do you know what I mean? I'm attached to this little bean already. I haven't told our families yet, which also makes it really hard because I tell my mum everything, and she's the person I'd be whinging to, you know, like if I'm scared or feeling down, the person I want to speak to is my mum. So I had a bit of a teary yesterday with Tim. I'm only on day 4 of morning sickness, and so far, you know, I'm really grateful for the periods of the day where I don't feel sick. I'm really grateful that I'm not feeling sick during sleep, but I just hope that I can like get it to where it's manageable. Good news is 1 week and we will be going for our first scan. It's also on Tim's birthday, so hopefully it's all good news. But that's my 6 weeks update. Hello, I am currently in my pajamas, and I just wanted to document how bad this acne is. Like, it's just lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of bumps, and like my whole face is red. But it's all about the journey, okay? It's all about the journey and what we're going through together. I am 7 weeks and 3 days today. Thankfully, my nausea just has not been bad at all. Completely manageable. Some days not even there, and I just don't even know if it's the combination of the medication, like, or whether my symptoms are disappearing. And I'm just so anxious. I've never been more anxious than this pregnancy. I think because I have had only 2 pregnancies in my life that have turned into healthy, beautiful, amazing children, I almost feel like it's my turn to have a loss. My nausea has been really manageable, and it's just making me worry. I was literally crying to Tim. I don't know if I can do this if this is every day. Like, shout out to women who have HG and vomit every day of their pregnancies. Obviously, I have an irrational fear of vomiting, so it does make me like more miserable and upset. So for a week now I've had little to no nausea, and so grateful, and I've like literally been praying that it's manageable and I'm gonna be okay. I can't help but wonder if tomorrow we get to the scan and there's no heartbeat, and that's why my symptoms have gotten better. I'm very, very nervous, and we're telling our family tomorrow if everything's all good at the scan. We're telling the boys tomorrow. I always thought if I ever got pregnant that I really wanted to document it properly, like completely, like the good, the bad, the ugly. Alright, wish us luck for tomorrow. I don't think we're going to be able to film it, but I'll take my camera, or I won't, and I'll take my phone and try to film on my phone. But either way, I hope I come back to you with some good news tomorrow. So yesterday was our first scan, and I was meant to be 7 weeks and 4 days. We get to the scan, and like you would have seen, I was just super anxious that we were going to get bad news. I just kind of had like this bad feeling. Everyone was being so positive, which was really sweet. But in the back of my mind, I was thinking the worst. The ultrasound tech does an abdominal scan, and all we see is a sac. Immediately my heart drops, because I feel like at 7 weeks and 4 days you probably should start to see something on an abdominal. Not always, but given my previous scans with the boys, I was measuring right on dates. So I don't know, I was secretly hopeful that I'd be able to see something just through the abdominal scan, but we just saw a sac, and I've got pictures of it, and now looking at it I can see something in it, but like from where I was to the screen you couldn't really tell there was anything there. Then she got me to empty my bladder so I could do a transvaginal scan, and when she stepped out for me to get ready for the scan, I just said to Tim there was nothing in there, and he said it's okay, it's all right. When I went to go empty my bladder, I was like, please God, please be something there when we do the internal scan. So she gets me to insert the wand, and we see something, and I'm just thinking, fantastic, this is so great. And then she takes a measurement. I could just see, because it was quite far away and I've got bad eyesight, that it was measuring 6 weeks and 1 day. And then I just saw no flickering, I saw no heartbeat. I didn't really see it kind of like jiggling around. So the lady was a student, and she said, I'm just going to have my supervisor double check everything. So the supervisor comes in and says, how are you feeling? Have you had any spotting? Have you had any cramping? Has everything been going okay? And I say, yep, everything's fine. And she's like, and you're sure you're 7 weeks and 4 days? I said, yeah, I'm sure of my dates. And she said, okay, so it's measuring small. She tried to find the heartbeat again. She made me hold my breath, but there was nothing. And she said, this report's going to go to your doctor straight away. You know, get in and see her. Didn't really give you much information because, you know, it's not really up to them to say, look, you're probably going to have a miscarriage. I'm devastated. Like, I can't even... I am shocked at how devastated I am. I've never had a loss before, so I guess I didn't really have an expectation of how I would feel if this were the case. Obviously I knew that I'd be like disappointed, but I didn't realize how sad I would be. Now the process from here is I see my doctor again today, and I'm assuming, I don't know, but just from what I've googled all night long, is that I'll get bloods done again today, and she'll give me another referral to do a follow-up scan. My scan didn't meet the criteria of it being a pregnancy loss. I've posted in my due date Facebook groups like what happened and if anyone had any experience, and about 90% of people it's ended in a miscarriage. There is like a 10% of people that have gone back and they were just a week behind. If it was only a week, I wouldn't be so worried, but it was like 10 days difference and there was no heartbeat. So it's likely a loss. Tim's been really sweet. It was his birthday, and like, I should have just taken a day off work to get a scan rather than do it on his birthday when this was a possibility. And now I feel really guilty and really bad. He's being really strong, or like it's not bothering him as much as me, which is understandable, he's a guy. Either that or he's just like putting on a really brave face for me. He bought me flowers this morning. He woke up and I was just like sobbing, and he gave me a really big cuddle and put his hands on my belly and just kept saying, it's okay, it's okay, it's all right, it's gonna be all right. I'll have to go back and see my little baby that hasn't developed in a week's time, and I'm probably gonna have to do it on Tuesday next week, so I won't have Tim with me. He flies out that day. But also in the meantime, I could just naturally miscarry between now and then. I've had some spotting and like some lower back cramps since the scan, which could also be from the scan, but you know, when all the signs point to yes. I'm gonna go take myself out for breakfast. I'm by myself. I just want to be alone. Tim's with Zaid running around doing things. Yeah, I just want to be by myself right now, so I'm gonna go have something to eat, and then I'm probably gonna go home and have a nap because I just didn't sleep all night. And then I'll go to the doctor this afternoon. I'll let you know what the doc says, but unfortunately this is the journey that this pregnancy is taking. I am heading to get an ultrasound at a different place today. It is Friday. We had our scan on the Tuesday, so it's not really protocol to go this soon, but I feel like if there's nothing today, that's it. And I don't really want to keep pushing this out any further. I can't sleep. I just feel horrible all the time, and I'm seeing my doctor next Wednesday already, so I just want some sort of indication today. If we're losing the baby, then I need to talk about my options next week, Wednesday, and then get that prepared for when Tim's home next. So, you know, I'm praying to God that I update you and by some miracle there is now a heartbeat, baby's gotten bigger, and this pregnancy can continue. But yeah, we'll see. Nothing has changed. Baby is still measuring 6 weeks 1 day. No heartbeat. I'm really sorry again for this, but clearly my hormones are just wreaking havoc, as well as stress and all that good stuff. It is Friday and it has been a week since I got my follow-up scan, and I didn't film that one because there was no change. In fact, baby had actually gotten slightly smaller, which is typical. If it's been a long time, they tend to shrink a little bit. And so I should be 10 weeks pregnant today. Baby stopped growing around 6 weeks 1 day, I assume. I don't feel like it grew any bigger than that, because that is around the time when my morning sickness just faded away into nothing. But what has happened in the last week is the Thursday before I got my scan, Tim and I got into a disagreement, and it's probably not something that I'd like to discuss on the internet, because the ins and outs of it are, you know, it's a lot to do with mental health and things like that, and obviously he's not here to discuss his side of the story. So what I will say is that we had a disagreement. He left to go to a friend's house, and essentially he hasn't come back since. He did not show up to the scan. He didn't even like message me the next day to see if like Zaid needed watching so I could go to the scan. I messaged his sister at the last minute. She came here and was like, what, where is he? Yeah, so I went to that alone, let him know that nothing had changed, and he was very vague and nonchalant about it and was like, okay, sorry to hear. But at no point did I think like this was like really the end, like he was just gonna go be a guy and go on a bender and deal with things the way he tends to poorly deal with things. So yeah, it's been a week and this week has been absolute hell. Waiting to miscarry, obviously. I quit my job because I didn't really know if Tim was going to be like in a suitable state of mind to look after Zaid. We hadn't spoken. Every time we spoke it was arguing. I was very, very angry. I didn't think that when I began filming this journey that the pregnancy would end. So that was and is really hard, really heartbreaking. But I also didn't think that after quite a good run of Tim and I being really good, that he would leave me after we lose a baby. And after everything we've been through, right, like 4 years of, there's been a lot. Like I could write a damn book about it all. At no point did I ever see this happen. For the past week actually I've had sort of like cramp back pain like when I was in labour with Zaid, but nothing came from that. They stopped after I went to sleep, and then I've had a bit of weird like spotting, not even spotting, just like weird discharge, sorry TMI, until like last night it started. There was a bit of like pinky brown through it. I thought, oh, maybe something's happening. Woke up, gone. But this morning I've had spotting and I've just felt like a lot of lower abdomen pressure, like you're about to get your period. And I wiped tonight and there was blood. Still very light, still pink. Had some Nurofen just in case. Let whoever I needed to know that I'd like started bleeding. At some point I need to go to the hospital and get a shot because I'm an O negative blood type, so that's going to be annoying when I'm on my own with the 2 kids. And then I've just gone to the toilet. Then there was nothing on the pad, even though like I feel like there's stuff coming. Nothing on the pad. I went to the toilet, wiped, and it was red. So things are definitely happening. And I messaged him to let him know that things are sort of starting. You know, in an ideal world, you think you could put your differences aside and he could be there for me during this. I've never gone through this before. It's his baby too that he's grieving and has lost. So I don't understand why he wouldn't want to be there and be supportive. I just don't know like how in somebody's heart they could be okay with letting me do this alone. I could ever forgive him if this is something that I've got to do alone. I really don't. When I tell you that this week has been hell, it has really been hell. I am just barely hanging on by a thread. But anyway, I will do this myself because I've been there before when I have had to do really challenging things by myself. And not only do I need to like mentally prepare for all of that, but I need to mentally accept that my partner who got me pregnant, who wanted this baby with me, who has lost this baby with me will not be there to support me. Hello. Miscarriage update. I would have been 11 weeks pregnant yesterday, so I'm 11 weeks 1 day today, which makes it 5 weeks exactly since baby stopped growing. I've had some, I wouldn't really call it spotting, but definitely some like really light bleeding for the last week, just like a little bit every day. I've had cramps on and off that whole time, just really mild, somewhere I'm like, ooh, but for 5 minutes maybe, and then it goes away. But other than that, like, I'm just sitting around waiting, and it sucks. And in the last clip, you would have seen me really upset about Tim. We still haven't resolved anything. I'm really hoping like we can move past this, because I don't want to do this by myself. I don't want to go through this by myself. I don't think that the argument that we had, or how we even got to this place, is like worth throwing away what we have, worth throwing away our family. I don't know, it's up in the air, and I have been absolutely like devastated, probably more devastated than losing this baby. The fact that, you know, me and him aren't on good terms when I'm going through something like this, I just hate it. He's my safe. Like, I feel safe and supported and at home when we're good. But today I've had a little bit more blood than other days, and I've been like dancing around the house. Basically, it's just similar to trying to start labor. So doing all of those things. I've eaten a heap of mandarins to try and like get my digestive system a little bit upset to give me cramps. That's basically it. So I'm just gonna try and like move around a bit today. Hopefully come Wednesday, when I go up to the early pregnancy unit, I don't want surgery, but if I'm going to have it, it probably needs to be this week coming, because Tim is home. He'll be able to help me with the kids and be with me as well, hopefully, if we like don't want to rip each other's heads off. I can't lose everything. It just wouldn't be fair. It just would be too soul destroying to lose absolutely everything. So 2 outcomes that I'm manifesting is 1, I miscarry naturally, and 2, Tim and I reconcile, so that I can just like put all of this behind us. We can move forward as we were, going really well. This has been the most time ever, really, dead set. So yeah, I just want it to be over. Okay, come on, wish me luck. Oh, I just vomited in my mouth. Wish me luck that these cramps and this bleeding gets heavier and heavier, and yep, a little bit more came out. Come on, we love that. That's what we love to see. Let's do this. Dance the miscarriage out. Yep. Okay, love you. I didn't think I would get to this point in this video where I would be finishing the video. When I first turned the camera on, when I got that pregnancy test, obviously I was so happy, shocked, surprised, a little like, what the hell? Can we, will we, won't we? But I was so anxious throughout the few weeks I was pregnant. I was so madly anxious. And if there's anything that I can take away from this situation and experience, is that if I fall pregnant again, there is literally nothing I can do. If I'm eating well, if I'm looking after myself, if I'm avoiding the things you're meant to avoid, there is literally nothing I can do. So I'm not going to stress. I'm not going to Google every ache, pain, symptom. I'm not going to worry about getting a diastilla on my test and my lines progressing, because I got all of that. I'm not going to worry about whether I have symptoms or not, because I had symptoms and they were stronger than the ones I had with the boys. Didn't make a difference. None of it makes a difference. And what I've read, hours and hours of Googling, is that every pregnancy can be so different, and what can be normal in one can be bad news in another. And we just cannot spend the whole time stressing. We just cannot. It's not helpful. Anyway, today, well, the last clip you saw was me dancing around. That was 2 days ago, day before last. I've had mild on and off cramps. I've only had like still the light bleeding, lots of like weird tissuey, clotty stuff. No like clots, if you know what I mean. Yesterday, I just felt crap. And the only way I can describe it is like before you get your period, when you just feel really shit and you don't want to do anything and you just want to lay around and you want to be lazy and you just feel crap. But last night I had, during my sleep, some pretty decent cramps. Nothing painful, but definitely I was like, okay, yeah, alright, I see you, I feel you. When you first, like before you start getting contractions and you start getting those like period crampy pains, like just niggly and annoying, like that's what it was. Today, I cleaned the house. I was like bending down and scrubbing things, and I scrubbed the shower and I scrubbed the bath and the toilet, and I was up and I was down, I was all around, and I thought, surely this is going to do something, surely. After a couple of hours of cleaning, it's then time to go pick up Nixon, and by this stage I'm just like, oh, got some period pain going on here, got some cramps. That's great. We could possibly be in for something tonight, definitely tomorrow, I would say. That was my prediction. So then I get in the car. I didn't think to take any like pain relief beforehand. I thought, you know, if it gets worse, I'll take something when I get home. Should be alright. You know, 10-minute drive to school and then a 30-minute wait because it's a huge lineup, right? And I'm sitting there and it's progressively getting a little bit more uncomfortable and a little bit more uncomfortable. And by the time Nixon gets in the car, I'm like, ooh, ooh. And Nixon knows what's going on. I've explained everything to him, and I've explained that you still need to sort of like birth the baby even though it hasn't grown. And he just said, Mummy, you've just got to be brave. I said, yep, I know, it's all good. You know, still managed to pull the kids out of the car, managed to pull Zayd out of the car. And I'm like, oh, should take some Nurofen now. Now's the time for Nurofen. I popped the 2 little Nurofen out on the bench, and up until that point, like, you know, when you're wearing a pad and you can feel the blood, like, I could feel a bit more blood coming, and I thought, you know what, I'll just go check on this blood. I'll go to the toilet, I'll do a wee, I'll check on this blood, see how it's going. So I've sat down to do a wee, and there is a bit like brighter red on the pad, and as I've done a wee, I've just like felt this push and then a slippery thing slip on out. It was almost like a sense of relief. And I've gone, that has got to be it. That's got to be it. Like, there is no way. I've had no like crazy build up. I've had no heavy, crazy, traumatic bleeding. Like, I've had maybe an hour of uncomfortable cramps. That cannot be it, surely. I've looked down into the toilet and it's the shape of a circle with like a stick, like a circle and a line, a circle with a line underneath it. And I was like, yeah, it's got to be it. Tried to find a utensil to fish it out of the toilet. Sorry, this is just hectic, but it's just what I did. And I had no hesitation. Like, I didn't even think about flushing. I was like, I've got to get this out to check it out. Unfortunately, like, I was trying to use like tongs to pull it out, but because of the tissue, it was just like sort of pulling it apart. So I think I broke the sac, and I'm not quite sure if baby's with me or if baby's got flushed. I eventually scooped it out with like a ladle situation, rinsed it underwater so I could get a good clear look at it, look at what I was looking at, and I took a picture, and I've kept it in a bag, wrapped up in the fridge, just in case I need to take it to the doctor. Otherwise I'll be burying it in a pot plant. It was about the size of my palm, very thick, very dark, very obvious that it was what it was, you know. Up until that point, I'd not had anything like it, nothing like it. And the cramping, it like eased straight away, and that's why I thought that's got to be the baby, because the cramps have just eased straight away, but was sort of like tender and painful for about a couple of hours, 2 to 3 hours after that. But now, completely fine, just tender and some light bleeding. I'm almost elated. I'm so relieved. I'm so happy that I got to naturally miscarry the way that I wanted, as if like you would have a birth plan where you want to birth naturally without medical intervention. That was me. I wanted to miscarry naturally without medical intervention, and I've done that, and I feel, I don't know, like this sense of achievement. I feel grateful for my body that it knew what to do. I feel grateful that I trusted my body to continue on and give it the time, whereas, you know, people are saying just get surgery, just get surgery. I was like, no. I'm just like, the journey is coming to an end, and hopefully on Wednesday when I go to the early pregnancy unit where they'll give me my rhesus negative shot, I wonder if they'll scan me just to check that everything's gone, or whether they'll just be like, just keep an eye on your bleeding and take a pregnancy test in a couple of weeks. I feel like I've had 4 weeks to mourn baby, and I kind of did that in the 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. And then it was just sheer determination to miscarry naturally. And now that I've achieved that, I feel a sense of closure that I kind of think I wouldn't have gotten from surgery. Like, it's a weird satisfaction to have done that myself, to let my body do that itself. I am more than grateful that my situation seems to be very ideal, relatively easy compared to the horrific stories that I've encountered. Definitely not traumatizing. If anything, I feel closer to my body and me as a woman. It sucks that I lost a little baby, but you know, they were with me and then they were in heaven, and that can't be too bad, can it? I don't know if I'll have another baby, if that opportunity will come around again. Tim and I are in such a crap place at the moment. This has just absolutely rocked us for 6. I hope we can get through it. I don't know if we will, but I guess that's what you'll see in the next video. I just want to say thank you to everybody that is in my life that has listened to me vent and whine and cry and be angry and ragey the last month. Like, anyone that has even just sent me a message and said, you've got this, it's okay, I'm sorry. Like, there were some days there that I just didn't even want to carry on. And now I just feel so grateful that I got to experience what I did, and that it's a chapter closed. So thank you if you reached out. I really appreciate it. My story is no more special or worse, or you know what I mean. So many women go through this, and I just think we need to really normalize talking about it, because I just did not even fathom how many women go through this. So many girls have reached out to me and said, hey, I've had losses and I wouldn't have even known if they didn't tell me. And we just need to validate people's losses. We need to validate that miscarriage is a very real thing. It's 1 in 4 and probably more, because you know, women that have really early miscarriages, they're not a statistic. They're not a part of those numbers. We just really need to talk about it more. It's so important for our mental health moving forward. You know, getting pregnant and going into trying to conceive and knowing that this is a very real possibility, and knowing more about the process and the decisions you can make, the options that you've got, and that your baby was a baby. Your pregnancy was a pregnancy, and not to hide it under the rug. It's not, you know, a shameful thing that we need to hide. It's not a taboo thing. You know, we don't just pretend it didn't happen because we didn't get to that 12-week mark to announce. Let's announce our losses. Let's validate that little life that we lost, that, you know, angel baby that we didn't get to meet. It's important for them, it's important for us, it's important for people we know, it's important for dads, it's important for same-sex partners. It's just really important to talk about it. And I'm so glad I've recorded this journey. I hope I can do it again with you with a different outcome, but who knows what the future brings. But I love you so much, and thank you for watching if you've gotten to the end. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.